Hello student, welcome back to Biology Classroom, and today I would like to explain about how to measure enzyme activity. As we have already learned last meeting that enzyme it is made by protein. So why it is important for us to learn about enzyme? Because enzyme is a biological catalyst. So enzyme can speed up the chemical reaction in the living thing. So when enzyme speed up chemical reaction, the enzyme itself remain unchanged, and then it is not used up. Meaning that after they finish to speed up the chemical reaction, the enzyme can be reused again to catalyze the next reaction. How the enzyme can speed up the chemical reaction? Enzyme can speed up chemical reaction because enzyme can lowering the activation energy of the chemical reaction. So activation energy is the energy that is needed to start the chemical reaction. So by using enzyme, enzyme can help to destabilize, destabilization of the uh, reactant, so the reactant can be easier to become a product. Now we study about how to measure the enzyme activity, which is we want to learn how fast the enzyme do catalyze or speed up the reaction. The most efficient enzyme, it is the enzyme that can speed up with the higher speed, right? Now, there are two ways how to test or how to measure the activity of the enzyme. First, we can measure the rate of the product formation. And then the second, we can measure the rate of the disappearance of the substrate. Okay, so for the measuring the rate of the product formation, we can use the enzyme called catalase to learning about this one. So before I explain about catalase, I will tell you that uh, our body and some organism body, they produce substance that we call as the hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2. Hydrogen peroxide, it is basically toxic and cannot be built up in our cell and long term in our body because it is toxic. So our body need to be break down the hydrogen peroxide fastly to become water and then to become oxygen. To break down the hydrogen peroxide, the living things is depend on the enzyme called catalase. Nah, when they break down the hydrogen peroxide, they produce the water and then oxygen. Oxygen is the gas, and by using several way, we can measure how many oxygen produced in the reaction. So by calculating the amount of the oxygen produced in the certain times, we can make the graph to know the rate of the formation of the product of the oxygen. And at the same time, we can know the activity of the enzyme catalase to speed up the breakdown of the hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so catalase is the enzyme that is found in the cell of the most organism that can break down hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. And then after we do the reaction, the volume of the oxygen produced can be measured in the set of time. And then the rate of the reaction then can be calculated. So as you can see in here that this is the, we can set the experiment like this one, which is we have the conical flask contain potato cubes. The potato cube is the source of the catalase, and then we can put them in the solution containing hydrogen peroxide. When we let them to react, the hydrogen peroxide will be break down into water and then oxygen. Then there is the tube that can transfer the oxygen into the measuring cylinder. Then the oxygen will appear in the measuring cylinder, and then we can calculate how many oxygen amount in the measuring cylinder. So sometimes we can just see it as a bubble, so we can counting the bubble, or they can have several bubble formation that has different height, so we can see how many how many milliliter that it's in the measuring cylinder, so we can know how many oxygen produced during a set of time. Remember, when you want to doing this experiment, you also need to measure the time because you want to measure how fast the oxygen is produced during a set of time. And then we make a graphic, yeah, which is the uh, x-axis. It is will be giving you about the period of time, and the y-axis it is about the volume of the oxygen that is produced during a given time. So we can know how many oxygen produced during a set of time, and indirectly we can know the activity of the enzyme. The higher the oxygen produced, yeah, the higher the activity of the enzyme during that uh, uh, when it is during that time. Okay. Another thing, how to measure enzyme activity, it is by investigating the uh, some of the reaction. It is not easy to some of the chemical reaction. We cannot easily to check the formation of the product. So the other way to measure the enzyme activity, it is by investigating how fast the substrate it is uh, disappear, which is the substrate can will be turned into the product. So other than we can measure how many product is formed, we can also measure how fast the substrate it is disappear, or how fast the substrate turning into the products. Okay, so reaction like example, the breakdown of the starch into maltose and glucose, it is can be measured by measuring the rate of the substrate disappearance in the chemical reaction. Maltose and glucose, both of them are colorless and it is hard to see using our eyes. But if we react the starch, which is the reactant in this chemical reaction with the iodine, if you remember that the iodine and starch can uh, giving the color of the blue black. Okay, so if the starch is still present in the solution, the color of the blue black can be shown. But if the starch already break down into maltose and glucose, when we put the iodine into the solution, there is no blue black present, which is become negative. So by measuring how fast the blue black color it is disappear in the reaction, we can know how fast the amylase enzyme is working. Okay, so I will repeat. Amylase is a digestive enzyme that hydrolyzes the starch into maltose and glucose. So what we need to do, so as you can see in here, this is we have the spotting tile. So in the spotting tile, we have several well in here. And in the well, we can put a starch solution into the well. After that, we can also put the enzyme amylase into the well. Okay, into the well also. Yeah. So the first time we will mix the starch and then we mix the amylase. After that, before that I will be reverse a little bit. So first we prepare the spotting tile with we already put the spotting tile with the 1 drop of the iodine solution in the each spotting tile. So the spotting tile uh, already contain the iodine. And then after that, we have the solution of the starch, and then we can put into the spotting tile, or we can mix with the amylase first, and then after that we set our timer. Okay. So I will repeat this explanation. Basically, we prepare the spotting tile with some iodine already put in the spotting tile. Yeah. So iodine already present in the spotting tile. After that, we prepare the tube that contain the mixture of the starch and then the amylase. When we put the amylase into the starch, we already prepare the stopwatch. So when we enter the amylase into the starch, we start the stopwatch. And then after that, during the interval of time, example during 30 seconds, every 30 seconds, we will put the mixture of the starch and then amylase into the spotting tile. Yeah. So every 30 seconds or every 1 minute, you need to put the mixture of the amylase and starch into the spotting tile. So you know in the first spotting tile, it is the first 30 seconds, And then the second spotting time it is maybe 1 minute. This one it is 1 minute 30 seconds. This one is the 2 minute. This is 2 minute 30 seconds, 3 minute, and then etc. And then you can see the color of the reaction of the solution with the iodine. If the iodine it is still giving the blue-black color, meaning that in that well the starch is not yet completely hydrolyzed. So example, in the well 2 there is still blue-black color, meaning that in the well 2, which is during 1 minute, the starch is not yet completely hydrolyzed into maltose or glucose. And then we can see in the well number 3, maybe the color of the blue-black start to become less darker, and then it is more, meaning that more starch already hydrolyzed to become maltose or glucose. And then after going to the well 5, we can see that there is the blue-black color already disappear, and then they turn into the brown color, which is the negative reaction for the iodine. And also in the well 6, we also see the same result. So we can see in here that at the around 2 minute 30 seconds, the enzyme amylase in our chemical reaction already successfully to completely break down the starch into glucose and maltose. And then we can plot the graph and we can calculate the speed of the enzyme break down the starch into maltose and glucose. Nah, and then the one that we already do in the experiment, we can plot into the graph. So example in here, it is the graph we call as the course of the reaction. So this is the graph that tell us the course of the reaction of the enzyme catalyst reaction. So this is using the catalyst enzyme, and we measure the activity of the catalyst enzyme by measuring how many oxygen produced during a set period of time. Nah, as you can see that they can measure by using the gas searing, and then the volume of the oxygen can be read every 30-second interval. Then as you can see, at the first 0 second until 90 second, we can see here that the slope of the curve is very high, which is they have the high slope. They are very steep. And then after that, the steepness of the curve it is being decreasing until the end of the time, which is the longer time, the steepness of the graph become decreasing and decreasing. So the graph is meaning that during the first time of the reaction, the number of the oxygen produced is very high, meaning that the activity of the enzyme is very high. Nah, in the enzyme catalyst reaction, the initial time it is usually when where the reaction it is happen very fast. Nah, the time when uh, uh, the period of the time between 0 until 90 seconds when the amount of the oxygen produced is very high, it is what we call as the initial rate of the reaction. So as you can see in here, the graph steepest at the start, and this rate it is what we call as the initial rate of the reaction. And in the every enzyme control reaction, the initial rate of the reaction it is always the fastest. So the in the enzyme control reaction, the fastest reaction is always happen in the beginning of the reaction. Now, after that, as you can see, after the initial rate of reduction that is very fast, we can see that the steep of the graph become decreasing. Why? Because as you can see that over time, the number of the substrate that is present in the solution, it is become decreasing. So if the catalyst enzyme, they already break down the hydrogen peroxide to become oxygen and then water, over time, the number of the hydrogen peroxide in the solution become decreasing. Because the substrate, it is already become low, that's why the speed of the enzyme become slow down. That's why it is very, if you want to know the activity of the enzyme, uh, if we want to see clearly the activity of the enzyme, how efficient they are to catalyze the reaction, it is important for us to see the initial rate of the reaction. So how you can measure the initial rate of the reaction by using the graph? It is you can calculating the slope of the tangent of the curve. Yeah. So you are learning in the mathematics. Yeah, how to calculate the slope of the curve. It is the one that we can use the value to measure the initial rate of the reaction in the enzyme catalyzed reaction.